Hi everyone, I'm Chengzhan Wu, a fifth-year PhD student from Accounting Information System Department at Rutgers University. Today, in this video, I will give you a brief introduction on Form990 database. IRS Form990 is officially known as Return of Organization Exempt from Income Tax. It provides a rich set of financial and non-financial information about not-for-profit organizations. Historically, these returns were available to researchers in PDF format, or partial data were available through information aggregators. But beginning in 2011, these forms were e-filed in an XML format. Those data files are remotely stored in Amazon Web Service and available to the public. In this project, all these returns were downloaded and extracted into a relational database, expanding future flexibility and availability of data access for academic research use. In this project, what I did was to download those XML data files in batch, designed a robot to parse the XML tags and to extract the data into a relational database. The database management system used in this research is Postgres. To date, there are over 236,000 total Form990 records in the database. In addition to that, this database also includes the data of supporting schedules. The application of relational database model not only improved the data accessibility, but also makes the data more comprehensive. First, in addition to the primary Form990, this database also includes the data of supporting schedules. In this database, each separate table is for each supporting schedule. Object ID, which is the unique file name, works as the foreign key in the supporting schedule table to be connected with the main Form990 data. Main Form990 table. Second, in the hard copy of Form990, a filer can list up to 25 people in this form, with additional forms allowed if necessary. But in case of e-filing, there's no limit in number of these records that may exist in this return. To address this issue, a new table was created, which is related using object ID to corresponding table where it is originated. Next, I will do some simple queries to illustrate the usefulness of this database. The first one is a single table query. Traditional research typically focuses on the analysis of balance sheets or income statement items, such as annual total revenue. This analysis will require the extraction of revenue along with the tax year and organization identifier, or EIN. Each of these items are disclosed on Form990. For example, of this simple research, the current year total revenue amount of all organizations in tax year 2018 can be retrieved using the XML SQL statements, and partial query results is shown on this slide. The next sample query is a multi-table contingent query. The additional schedules of Form990 provide supporting information to the main Form990 when necessary. Schedules are typically needed based on how the organization answered certain questions on the base return. If a researcher needs to get data from supporting schedules, a multi-table query simplifies this process. For example, Form 990, Part 6, Question 5 asks if an organization had an asset diversion during the tax year. If a researcher wants to see the details regarding an asset diversion of organization, the detailed description is disclosed on Schedule O. The SQL comment can be used to list the contents in Schedule O of the organization response yes to Form 990, Part 6, Question 5. And partial results are shown on this slide. The next sample query is a query of number of repeated attributes. Periodically, a researcher needs to focus on a variety of more complex reviews and summarization of data. For example, the Form 990 Part 4 table provides detailed information about officers, directors, trustees, and key employees. In this database, this detailed information is stored in a separate table from the base Form 990. Because the number of individuals listed are varies among organizations. A hypothetical research question may involve the investigation related to the number of these individuals listed for organization with asset diversion. To answer this question, one could count on the number of these records for a specific entity for tax year. The SQL comment can be performed to list the number of officers, directors, trustees, and key employees for each individual EIN and tax year. Sample query results are shown on this slide. Questions such as this can be used in combination with other questions to provide a accumulation of data for entities that meet certain criteria. A feature of this database is that it can be updated periodically so that the data is up to date, including the newly filed Form 990. This project also has some limitations. First, it misses those Form 990 filed on paper because the general trend is toward e-filing, and large organizations are required to participate. I expect the number of the e-filing organizations to increase over time. The number of e-files increased from approximately 200,000 to almost 500,000 over 140% from 2011 to 2017. Another limitation of this database is that the data considered its start in 2011. While this is a limitation, there are over 2.6 million total returns filed since 2011. And available on Amazon Web Service. I acknowledge the lack of distant history data, but believe that the present and the future flexibility of data access outweighs this limitation. All right, if you have any further questions, please contact me by email. Thanks for your attention.